This is Roll Credits.
That's right, you heard the man. This is Roll Credits. As always, I'm Cap, and today is a very special episode. Today's episode will be the first in what is most likely many in the Roll Credits Extra Rolls. So, more often than not, we get talking about a tangent, and there's just too much to fit into one episode. If you may recall, a few months ago, we did an episode and it had a little anecdote about Subway in it. Well, there was a whole tangent about Connquest's time working at a specific Subway. It just ran too long and it didn't fit the theme of the episode, so unfortunately we had to cut a huge chunk of it out. Fortunately for you, I saved it and was able to edit it and turn it into its own episode. And in case you're wondering, we do have new material on the way at some point. It's just there's this unfortunate thing called real life and real jobs that gets in our way sometimes. So we're going to be throwing that aside at some point and getting back to work on what's really important. That is, roll credits. Now, without further ado, here is our extra roll.
The things that you learn as a former Subway manager. Within a 150-mile radius, there's one Subway that's not owned by sub purveyors, and they keep trying to buy it out, and they keep failing because the local owners keep telling them to get bent. Which is funny because it's just a tiny little Subway attached to a Ridley's, but they've got it there, and they are not going to sell. They refuse to sell, which, more power to them. That's also the only place where you can get certain kinds of cookies. It's also the only place where you can get certain menu items that just aren't available elsewhere, which is always really funny because people will come in and ask for those types of things. For the longest time, meatball subs were the thing. Once our location got rid of meatball subs, we would still have people coming in all the time asking for meatball subs and pizza subs. Those are the two things that we didn't serve, but
Seriously?
they did serve. Both got taken off the menu years ago.
It's like a staple here. Like every single Subway in the area has meatball subs and buffalo chicken too. That's the big thing here, obviously. But
Buffalo chicken's the new thing, though. Buffalo chicken's the new national one. They're pushing that one hard.
they've had that for years here.
Well, they might have had for years there, but they're pushing it nationally, okay?
That's about damn time.
Actually kind of fucking sucks. I've still got a buddy who manages one of the other Subways, and that's actually how I met him, was through Subway.
Uh-huh.
And that's how I still know that they're pushing buffalo chicken nationally. That's how I know what's going to be next for the $5 foot long. That's how I know. But that's how I know about buffalo chicken thing. That's just how I know shit that I shouldn't know at this point because it's been too long.
Well, they changed how they do it, because it used to be they would pre-make it like they do the chicken teriyaki, so the hot sauce would, infuse into the chicken. Now they just, haphazardly slap the hot sauce on top of it.
Okay, see, they're still doing that in everywhere else. They're still mixing it. That's actually been the new way to do it nationally, is they do it the same way they do teriyaki chicken. What you do is you take one part sauce pouch, which is just the regular buffalo sauce that we've had for years, and you just mix it with chicken strips, which is the same chicken strips that we've had for years, and boom, chicken, I guess. It's the same way as teriyaki chicken. In fact, if I remember correctly, all local stores no longer have teriyaki chicken.
What?
They're doing buffalo chicken.
The teriyaki chicken's, my second favorite besides the buffalo chicken.
We still carry the teriyaki. They still carry the teriyaki sauce. Can you tell I worked at one for too long because now I keep saying we, they. Kind of sad. My location is the one that got shut down. That building should have been condemned. That thing was fucking Did I ever tell you about the time that the fucking floor fell out from under me in that store?
Oh, shit, seriously?
Okay, here's the Connquest story time. Okay, so this building was built in 1998. It was the first one that Con Paulos built, right?
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, by the time I took it over, so the floor was sagging in two different spots, one being in the sink area and one being at the drive-through area. And this was a tiny, tiny building. It's hard to describe. We're talking, I had about 5 tables in my fucking dining area. One night, it was late, and so what I did, the store was in kind of a crime-ridden area. would lock the back door and I would just leave the front door unlocked, and I would have all the lights on, and I would make sure all the security cameras were working, all 2 of them, because we had about 5-6 cameras, but the one over my office, like, the only one that worked was the one pointing at the door and the one pointing at the drive-thru, and the rest were just dummy cameras at that point, which was fine with me because that meant that they couldn't fucking call, my manager couldn't pop. My district manager couldn't pop on the cameras and bitch and moan when I'm sitting in the back playing on my Switch at my desk, because of course I'm doing that. Nobody's gonna fucking come to my Subway at 7:30 at night.
Right.
I had to bell on the door so I would know if someone came into the actual store and the fucking drive-thrus, obviously. And that store was fucking creepy. Like, there was a time where we all thought it was haunted. The fucking everything was all gross and grody. The fucking safe smelled like mold because there was space underneath the safe, and every time you'd mop the floors, a little bit of water would get under there, and there was no way to get out. It was a whole fucking mess. I didn't mind the store, to be honest. It was pretty chill. It was real quiet. You know, it's just kind of me for most of the time. I just kind of got to hang out. It was a decent experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, later one night, I had a guest come in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this is like 8:30, right before I'm about to close, so half my line's already fucking packed up and good to go, you know?
Right.
Everything's all pulled up. I'm about ready to go. This fucker comes in, orders a complicated ass sandwich, and orders a fucking wrap. Let's see, ordered 2 sandwiches and a wrap, and both the sandwiches were heated ones that had to be obviously toasted. And he ordered a fucking wrap. Well, a wrap means I had to use those stupid fucking little cup things to cook the meat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't be a problem except for the fact that then I have more dishes to do. I mean, I guess it could have been worse. You could have ordered a salad or something, but it still sucks, right? Yeah, a chopped salad. Those things where they make so many dishes. But regardless, 2 sandwiches and a wrap, whatever, it's fine. I go to the back to do the dishes, right? Because again, I was basically closed up for the night, but this was back when we were still using multiple knives instead of that nasty ass, you know, fucking one knife that they wipe off shit now that they do.
Mm-hmm.
They still had a big bin full of knives that we would just, you know, rotate through, right? Well, I'm taking back the 3 knives because, of course, every single fucking sandwich and wrap had to have different sauces on it, so I can't just reuse the same knife because that'd be too easy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm complaining way too much about this guy's order. It's not even like an abnormal order, but it's just a drive-thru order. You know what happened? I took all that shit back. I started washing it all. Mind you, this sink, the flooring under the sink had been soggy for a long time. You know, you'd stand there and you could fucking bounce on the floor. Like, soggy. You've ever lived or walked into an old house that's been decrepit, you know what soggy floors feel like.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, this floor was soggy. So, whatever. You know, soggy floors, I don't care. I'm fucking standing there, right, doing the dishes, and fucking I walk over to dip the stuff in the fucking, well, didn't actually dip it in the bleach water because I'd already drained the bleach water, so I was running it under the bleach tank. So, I start setting it up, and then fucking the floor just falls out from under me.
Oh my.
As I'm standing there, along with the sink and everything. Mind you, at this point, I thought the floor was on a solid foundation. I was not aware that it could fucking... Like, I knew that the floor was sagging, but I thought there was, like, maybe, like, 6 inches between me and the, you know, fucking foundation, right?
Uh-huh.
I did not think that there was a full basement.
Oh,
so
shit, there's full basement?
Well, there was a full-size crawl space of 3 feet deep.
Oh,
so
fuck.
There was a crawl space there. 2, there were a lot of spiders in that crawl space. 3, I don't like any of that. 4, a sink hurts when it falls on your foot. Those are the 4 things I learned. It's all just fucking collapsed out from under me. And I'm sitting here, I'm fucking panicking. And of course, at this point, you know, I'm trying to fucking lock up the door. I'm trying to call my district manager. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do about the sink. Long story short, my store was closed for like a week while they fucking retiled the floor.
That's fucking nuts.
God, and you know, the fucking drive-thru thing never did it. But the drive-thru also had that same soggy thing. And that is also why I was very, very careful every time I took a drive-thru order out and pretty much laid on the soda machine because I did not want to put my full weight on that goddamn floor. So yeah, that is the story of how my Subway floor collapsed out from under me and why that building should be condemned. Another thing that would happen is every time it would fucking rain hard, water would start dumping out of the speaker systems.
Wait, what?
So the speaker systems in the store, it's all the radio speakers. They were all just connected to the ceiling, right?
Uh-huh.
Regular ass speakers. Problem was, they all had holes in them because they were 20-year-old speakers that had long since been blown out by 20 years worth of teenagers plugging in their phones or Walkmans or whatever, because there was an auxiliary port. I think, well, the thing didn't support XM radio, right? Because it was the same receiver that had been back there for 15 years.
Right.
Not longer.
It's probably hooked up to a Muzak system at some point.
Probably. But it used local radio station, right? FM radio. Well,
okay.
I got sick of listening to the FM radio stations, so 9 times out of 10, we would just plug in our phones and we would play shit off Spotify. Super legal, but whatever. I would generally listen to, Biggie or just whatever. Mostly 90s rap and hip-hop, because that's the kind of mood I was usually in.
Can't go wrong.
Of course, like I said, 15, 20 years of that type of shit, all the speakers were blown. None of them could play music properly. All of them had holes in them, guaranteed. And then they started fucking dumping water out of them. Because all the fucking holes... And this just happened randomly one day out of nowhere. Apparently there was a fucking leak in the roof. That was never addressed. Because the roof, like the leaks into the actual, ceiling, which mostly didn't happen except for the fact that it would still leak over by the back door. But that didn't matter. Because, a safety hazard to the back door is just a safety hazard to me. Nobody cares. What happened was eventually it started leaking out of the speaker system. So every time it would fucking rain, I had to have buckets set out in like 8 different spots. Everywhere where there was a fucking speaker, it would just start pouring out of the speaker holes.
That's definitely not up to code.
I wish I was fucking... No, and that's how I found out that the roof had like an actual proper leak and not just like one small leak in one spot. Because before then, I just thought it was the one spot. Oh! Dedicated to that fucking purpose, and it was such a fucking mess. It was dumping water out, and it was there was so much wrong with that building. And so, like I said, there's no fucking way that building is up to code now. All the tiling was cracked and broken up. All that would need to be replaced. There's no way that's actually legal at this point,
Right. No, I kind of want Subway now.
Me too, but yeah. So. There's a couple issues with the thing. The line when I got hired there had black mold in it because it had been so long since it had been cleaned. I got to clean all that out within like my first week because nobody ever bothered to clean the line. So I had to fucking deep clean the entire line so we could pass health inspection. What else was there? Oh yeah, there was a time I never got a paycheck. That was fun. That was another one of those times where I had to sit on the phone with sub-purveyors for hours on end because it turns out the payroll system had collapsed and most people had gotten their checks, but anyone who had direct deposit did not. Problem was, I was the only one who had direct deposit in my entire fucking local system, right?
Oh, seriously?
Particular subway system did these groups of subways did not drug test.
Oh, say no more.
Employees or meth heads or pot heads or crackheads or something of that extent, which would be fine until that meant that they all wanted checks so that they could cash checks at Walmart so that they could do whatever. Most people there only work their 10 to 20 hours a week just for, quote unquote pocket money. Actually just, weed money or whatever.
Oh, of course. I
obviously was a manager. This was all just dumb shit I did right after I got out of high school. So I was one of the few like full-time employees. It was me and like maybe like 2 or 3 other store managers that actually worked more than 40 hours a week. Everyone else was just, part-timers. So when I was basically the only one whose fucking check didn't go through, I was the one who got to call them and fucking sit there on hold for an entire shift. Mind you, I'm still having to make people sandwiches, but I had to close the drive-thru because I couldn't fucking take orders through the drive-thru. Why would I be able to take orders through the drive-thru? I'm on the fucking phone. I'm waiting to get my paycheck. At that point, I'm technically working for free.
Right, yeah, you hadn't gotten your pay yet. I had a similar instance happen when I was working at a nationwide restaurant chain that was locally franchised. They were horribly mismanaging the chain. I mean, who opens a fucking a year-round ice cream chain and... Anyway, so None of us got our paychecks because they didn't have enough money to pay us.
What?
Yeah, they didn't have enough money in the store's accounts because it was the middle of winter and nobody was buying ice cream. So they eventually had to pay us out of their own pockets because they didn't have the money in the account.
That's fun.
And then I quit shortly after that because, I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
And then they wound up, that branch wound up closing and then reopening a year or two later as a corporate.
You don't say.
Yeah, and then it has since closed down, and then it's been like 3 other things since. But funnily enough,
nice.
that was actually next to a Subway. So, and that Subway was horribly mismanaged, and we would actually, like, go in through the back door, walk behind the counter while they were serving customers, and go in their fridge, and, like, I would take, like, 3 or 4 of the little paper things of the chicken teriyaki, and just walk out and eat it. It reminds me, they used to have bourbon chicken. They haven't had the bourbon chicken probably in, 07, 14, 15 years. Because they had the bourbon chicken, and then they came out with the chicken teriyaki, and then they get rid of the bourbon chicken, and they've just had chicken teriyaki ever since. So maybe there's hope.
So did I ever tell you about how I fucking became, how I got my manager position?
At Subway?
Since we're on this topic.
Uh-huh.
So, how I became a manager was the other guy got arrested.
Oh, seriously?
More to the story. So this other guy was a fucking... Okay, so I'd known this guy for years, right? I'd worked with him at Red Robin. He and I went to the same high school. I was buddies with his brother for years. Cool dude, right? I know him for forever.
Right.
The problem is, he was a drug dealer. He was a weed dealer, not like a drug dealer.
You mean he was dealing the devil's lettuce?
Yeah. So, yeah, he was just, like, whatever. Fucking weed dealer. Nobody cared, right?
Uh-huh.
Nobody, like, he fucking selling weed, whatever. The problem was, he was also on probation because he'd already been arrested for this before.
Oh.
Full times. Yeah, I'd known this guy for years. He'd been in that county. It was never a huge deal. The whole reason why he actually ended up at Subway was because he had been attempting to rob the Subway. That he knew he had the keys to all the stores. He knew the codes for all the safes, and so he robbed all the nightly deposits and went to Vegas. No, Elko. Yeah, he went to Elko or Jackpot or one of those small towns, right?
Uh-huh.
He fucking walked away with more money they stole from the stores, but he never actually returned any of the money.
Oh.
He just fucking pocketed it.
What a dumbass.
Oh, no, it wasn't a dumbass move. He had no intention of returning the money to begin with. That was going to be his way of quitting. Problem was, they figured out it was him. Again, this was back when the security camera worked over my desk and desks. So he got caught, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, he got fired for that, obviously. And then he was arrested later for selling weed and whatever. Years later, he's working at Red Robin, and I get hired at Subway around the same time he gets rehired to be a manager. Cool, right? So he ends up being my manager. We both start at pretty much the same time. He already knows what he's doing because he's the fucking manager, right?
Right.
Like I said, he'd been a manager before. Like, all that was the matter was free fucking learning the recipes. Easy stuff. So, it's whatever. We're just fucking hanging out one day, just chilling. He was telling me about the fact that he was going to start selling edibles. He was trying to, trying to pitch it to me, but he also knew, like, I knew how to get my own shit, and I had been selling too. Like, he knew I could get my shit probably cheaper than he'd get his shit. Mm-hmm. He was just, throwing it around that it was a fucking making edibles, right?
Uh-huh.
A small time. He was hoping to, like, make this into a big deal. Like, he made a shit ton, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't know who all knew about the edibles other than me, his girlfriend, him, and his brother, right? The brother who I said I was buddies with for years, right?
Right.
I think those are the only people who don't know who else knew about it beyond that, but somehow somebody who knew told the fucking cops.
Oh.
Because he was still on probation at the time, mind you. He fucking, like, I guess the cops went to his house, and he Okay, so I guess I should have. It wasn't like out of nowhere. Like we were at work, right?
Uh-huh.
I wasn't supposed to work that night. It was just me. What he did was he fucking, like, he had seen this happen. He snuck out the back of the store with a buddy of his, and they fucking drove to the store in his fucking Mustang and fucking whatever, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, they fucking dipped out of there when the parole officers were showing up, just to talk and hang out, and he fucking left, and then his parents said, or his brother said that he wasn't fucking there, right?
Uh-huh.
Normal shit you do when you have weed in the house and you're on probation. So, or parole rather. He fucking comes to the store, whatever, we don't think anything of it. Until an hour and a half later, they fucking show up. Apparently they had a warrant and had searched his house and found all of it. They knew exactly where they were going because they went straight for where it was hidden and they fucking found all of it.
Oh, probably
They
brought the
fucking are
dog.
arresting him. They're arresting him out of the store right fucking then and there, leaving just me there. I'm fucking having to call the district manager. I'm having to fucking sort it all out. I'm having to fucking explain that he got arrested. It's like a whole fucking mess. Nobody knows what's going to happen to him. And so I was placed temporarily in charge of the store.
Go sure the manager now. Good luck.
Yeah, pretty much. And that lasted for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then that's when his court date came up. And it was, he got charged with possession again. He got charged with breaking his parole. He got proper arrested again. He could never make bail in the first place. That's the thing. He ended up in county, and then he ended up in federal, and then I think he got out. No. It was a 7-year sentence, so he's still in jail now. He's not up for parole again yet. That is what happened there. After his sentencing happened, I got told I was going to be in charge of the store from now on, and I was given that promotion to manager. I was given a 75-cent raise. All of a sudden, I had to take over after my boss gets arrested for some fucking reason. And mind you, I didn't fucking, it wasn't like I was expecting a promotion. There was no assistant manager at the time. I didn't have the most seniority. I just was there the most. And so I just got put in the manager spot. I think I did an okay job of it. I never was, fired or anything. I never got reprimanded. I continued to get raises.
All right, there you go.
But that's the story of how I became the Subway manager. Because my fucking manager got arrested.
And that concludes today's inaugural edition of Extra Roll, a Roll Credits production. As always, I'm Cap. Unfortunately, Connquest couldn't make it today. He's currently running for governor of California. So, Connquest, thanks for listening, and that leaves us with one little thing left to do. Roll credits!